I wrote a little song to remind you, Choice Hotels get you more of the experiences you value. The Cambria Hotel's got it all. A rooftop bar, have a ball. Bring a date, your squad, or even your mom. Book direct at choicehotels.com.
British Spy Stories Season 6 Counter-Strike Episode 28. Gabby doesn't wait for Talgarth to resurface. She dives under and joins in the battering of the brickwork behind the pipes. There's only 2 inches now from water to ceiling. Their oasis of air is disappearing. They both kick once, twice, 3 times. Then the brickwork cracks and the wall caves in from the weight of water. The 2 of them are sent on a tidal wave to the next room and are smashed against the far wall. The impact rams through their skeletons, and they cry out in pain. Then they fall onto the floor as the water rolls on out of the door and along the corridor. There's a moment when their brains catch up. Then they manage to stand, their clothes running with excess water. Gabby leads Talgarth out of the room and they get back to the stairs and rise to ground level. When they finally reach the open area of the factory, both the spies sink to their knees, then lay down, their breaths gasping out of their lungs between coughs to get the water out of their systems. Then they're quiet and lay on their backs as the first light of dawn shows at the highest windows in the end wall of the factory. "Where do you think they've gone, Mum?" "No idea yet," says Gabby, and she pushes herself up onto one elbow. "We'll take the bikes to the British Embassy, talk to London, get rearmed and get new comms. Maybe they'll get a new fix on Orlov by then." Gabby stands and reaches out her hand to help Talgarth up. They pull one of the vast doors open and step outside. It's 15 minutes on their bikes before they reach the modern connected blocks on the banks of the Moskva River that house the British Embassy. As they have no comms, they park outside and press the bell for out-of-hours access. After the buzzer sounds on the gate, the women are taken into a security room where their irises are scanned to verify their identity by a man called Raymond, who says little. When he has completed the process, he presses a button on the desk in front of him, and a green light comes on above a door with no handle at the back of the room. A dark-haired and very tall woman in her late 20s, with hazel eyes, appears. "I'm the 3rd secretary in the embassy," she says as she holds out her hand. "Rachel Cadogan." "Rachel, we're operating covertly inside the Russian Federation on a mission that I can't tell you about," says Gabby. "I need access to the ambassador's personal secure communications room. 2 handguns, new clothes and a blonde wig." "I don't have that authority," says Rachel. "Then wake up the ambassador, Rachel, because this is happening now." The woman leads them inside and along to a conference room that overlooks an internal garden and has a long beach table at its centre. Rachel leaves them alone, and after 2 minutes a wired phone at one end of the table rings, and Gabby lifts the receiver. "This is Kevin Lamb, the ambassador," says a man down the line. "Did Rachel tell you why we're here?" "She did," he says. "Can you tell me any more?" "I don't think you've got clearance, sir." "Is this a conference call? Can we add on another person?" "Yes." She dictates Sir Bernard Mackintosh's private number at home, and Gabby hears the line ringing. An AI-generated voice says, "Password." "Ottawike 613, says Gabby, and the line rings again. "Gabrielle?" says Sir Bernard. "Kevin Lamb is on the line, sir, the Moscow ambassador." "Good morning, Kevin." "Hello, Sir Bernard. Kevin needs your authority to provide me with support and kit, sir," she says. "Give Gabrielle anything she wants, Kevin. This is an LM-16 approved by the PM 3 days ago." Why wasn't I told? Says Lamb. JIC only, Ambassador, I'm afraid. Shall we get the Foreign Secretary on the call, too? Lamb can be heard sighing. That won't be necessary, sir. I'd like to talk to Gabrielle alone, Kevin. Many thanks for your help on this one. They hear the ambassador put down his phone. What's happened, Gabrielle? Control say they lost contact with you. We found Orlov, sir. But we were attacked and overpowered. He's with Adrik Vesna, the chief engineer from the Russian tank factory. They're getting closer to having the components and the people to build a Gorgon machine. Where are they now? We don't know, sir. GCHQ are running an active trace. As soon as we get something, we'll follow them. They talk on for a minute. Then Gabby excuses herself as time is of the essence. As she puts down the phone, Rachel Cadogan reappears. Follow me, she says. The spies are taken to the ambassador's suite of offices on the top floor that are empty at this early hour. Through a side door is a communications room, and Rachel leaves them with a promise to have the items they need in the next few minutes. Gabby and Talgarth sit down in front of 3 screens that are bolted to the wall. They click and type through the MI6 security layers to reach a video feed of the GCHQ operations desk. Greg, where's our tracer on Orlov? Says Gabby, without any greeting. We're working on it. We need it now, Greg. We only have limited CCTV access in Moscow, ma'am. We've only managed to hack half a dozen of them, he says. Have you got access to the AI tool, Mallory? Says Talgarth. Of course. Patch all the previous Alexei Orlov images into Mallory and feed it into the last 48 hours of CCTV feeds in Moscow that you have. Talgarth and Gabby look at each other as Greg can be seen on the screen typing on his keyboard. It's scanning. There is something. There's a grid reference. He dictates the numbers and letters, and Talgarth types them into a mapping application on a second screen. Yaroslavsky Station. They're catching a train. Greg, hack the ticketing system. Find where they're going and book us to the same destination. Keep the tracer on and update us as we travel. We're leaving now. They disconnect the call and run out. Rachel Cadogan is in the outer office with 2 backpacks. Clothes, wig, comms, guns, is all she says, as the spies take them from her and hurry to the lift. They fire up the off-road bikes that they left downstairs and roar out of the embassy compound. The morning rush hour in Moscow has started, and Gabby and Talgarth have to weave between the traffic on the Garden Ring Road as they travel clockwise towards the station. Greg's voice comes on comms in their earpieces. We know the train, Gabby. Platform 4, headed for the Urals. We booked you sleeping berths. But there's only 1 minute before the train leaves. Gabby accelerates the bike and Talgarth is only a few meters away from her tail. They turn off the ring road at speed and onto Kalanchevskaya Ulitsa towards the cream and tan exterior of the station they need from the 3 termini that sit here around the Komsomolskaya Square. 30 seconds, says Greg. Gabby doesn't stop at the entrance but leans back and the front wheels of her bike lift up as she continues on through the entrance and onto the marble flooring. The guard at platform 4 has his hand on the gates to pull them closed as the bikes power on. At the last moment he jumps back and the 2 KTM 450s crash past him and run along the platform. The train has started to move. Ivy, says Gabby, in comms. Have you ever jumped on a moving train? No, Mum. Then it's time for a new experience. Gabby twists her wrist, and the front wheel gets to within 6 feet of the last carriage. She jumps off and the bike spins away on the platform. She runs, and at the platform edge, she pushes her body weight back and up. The weight of her backpack helps her balance as her body launches across the gap. There's a second of flight. Then she crashes onto the last carriage of the train. Her fingers grasp the stanchion and the pain in her tendons rises across her body. Gabby turns her head. Now you, Ivy. The train is moving faster now. Talgarth pushes the bike on in pursuit. The end of the platform is rushing towards her. As the bike is within 10 feet of the end fence, she jumps off. The machine sparks against the security metalwork and bends the wires, but she's level with the back of the departing train. She takes a run up, jumps, and flies. Talgarth grabs for anything to get her on board. One hand makes contact, and her fingers curl. The other hand is flailing in the air. Gabby gets a grip on a stanchion and grabs for Talgarth. The first grasp misses the woman's arm, and Talgarth's boot brushes the moving wheels. Gabby's second reach makes contact. She gets a firm hold and pulls Talgarth up against the carriage to safety. They look at each other, then Gabby opens the end carriage door to get inside. The cabins booked by Greg are near the front of the train, and they shower and change before going to find the restaurant car, where they order breakfast of meat, cheese, pancakes and coffee. So, we know from GCHQ that Orlov's and Vesna's tickets are to Niju Tagil, says Gabby, and this train is non-stop until then. It makes sense. Vesna lives there, and has a huge workforce there, too, some of whom were, no doubt, the whitecoats in the factory in Moscow. This journey is a day and 5 hours, says Talgarth. We can search his cabin for the X-rays this evening. If we find them, then it's game over for him. What about the Russian T-99 X-rays? Would we still buy them? We'd have to make that decision once we've secured or destroyed the Challenger 4 scans. They spend the rest of the day sleeping and talking to London about the options that they have once they get to Niju Tagil. Gabby orders another type of Annabelle container to be delivered to an MI6 safe house in the town. They eat lunch in their cabin and look out of the window at the rolling hills and river valleys that gradually change into the Russian plain as they go further east. After Greg confirms that Orlov is booked into cabin 10 on the train, Gabby says, "You can do something for me, Ivy. Go and schmooze one of the waiters who deliver room service to the cabins and steal his master key. Can you?" Talgarth walks out, and 5 minutes later, she walks back in with the key in her hand. A hidden talent, Agent Talgarth. A misspent youth. What can I say? In the early evening, Talgarth is reading as the landscape rolls by. "Where did you get that book?" says Gabby. "It was in the conference room of the embassy. Crime and Punishment, Dostoevsky." "Very appropriate," says Gabby, "but I need to borrow it." She finds the blonde wig in her luggage and pulls it on, then walks to the carriage that has a bar in it. Cabin 10 is in the next carriage. Gabby orders a black Russian cocktail and acts being engrossed in her book while she watches the door to cabin 10 along the passageway. At just after 8 p.m, Orlov appears. He knocks on cabin 11 and Adrik Vesna opens the door. The two men walk out and towards Gabby, so she drops her head to hide her eyes, the giveaway of any disguise. The men walk past and don't look at her. When they disappear through the end door to the restaurant car, Gabby moves. She leaves her drink and book as cover and walks to the door of cabin 10. She uses the stolen master key and lets herself in. The cabin is a double berth, and she rapidly goes through Orlov's luggage before exploring the rest of the room for hiding places. She finds nothing, and after 10 minutes decides he must have sent the scans on, using a parcel courier. But as she walks back towards the door, it starts to open. Alexei only pauses for half a second, trying to understand how the woman he left to drown in Moscow is here in his cabin. Then he turns and runs. Gabby gives chase. They speed along the corridor towards the back of the train, Orlov pushing passengers and staff out of his way. They enter the final carriage, which holds goods and parcels. It's lined with shelves of passenger luggage on one side and kitchen stores on the other. Orlov pulls everything he can find off the shelves to try and slow his pursuer. Flour, vegetables, and suitcases rain down on Gabby as she battles after him. Orlov reaches the end door and yanks it open. The cold air rushes in, and he steps out onto a small platform at the back of the train. There's a vertical access ladder bolted to the end carriage, and he climbs up as Gabby gets through her suitcase and food barricade and emerges out into the Russian night. She starts to climb after him. There are a million stars in the sky above her head as she steps out onto the roof of the train. The wind is in her face, but she can see Orlov's outline clambering along in front of her. She is fitter than Orlov and makes headway to close the gap between them. As she jumps across to the next carriage, her foot slips on the roof, and she can feel her center of gravity veer towards the tracks before she gets hold of a roof stanchion and stops her fall. Orlov is only 20 feet away from her now. But he stops and sits down on the carriage roof. As Gabby moves towards him in the wind, Orlov produces a handgun and fires at her. The shot is wide, but she has no cover, so decides on attack rather than defense. He fires again, and this time she can feel the bullet hit her clothing, but it doesn't find her skin. Gabby lunges over the last 5 feet and gets her hand around his arm. She smashes the back of his hand down onto the roof of the train until his knuckles bleed, but his grip doesn't release the pistol. She changes tack and grabs the gun's muzzle, then pulls it back towards him and hits him in the face with the metal. He pulls away, and now he does lose his grip. The weapon flies away in the wind. Gabby manages to land a punch on his face before he gets a solid grasp of her torso and throws her to one side, trying to catapult her over the edge. He turns now and struggles on in the wind, further up the carriage roof, and Gabby follows. As Orlov is looking down for footholds, Gabby looks up ahead. There's a tunnel mouth, 50 meters away. "Alexei!" she shouts, but the wind carries her voice away. "Alexei!" she repeats. This time he does hear her and turns back. The tunnel mouth is there, 20 feet away. She ducks, then 30 seconds of brickwork rush past her head, only a few inches away from her. Then the tunnel ends, and she's again out in the open. Gabby looks up, along the carriage roof, but Orlov has gone.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. I don't know if you knew this, but anyone can get the same premium wireless for $15 a month plan that I've been enjoying. It's not just for celebrities. So do like I did and have one of your assistants switch you to Mint Mobile today. I'm told it's super easy to do at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
Starting a business can seem like a daunting task, unless you have a partner like Shopify. They have the tools you need to start and grow your business. From designing a website to marketing to selling and beyond, Shopify can help with everything you need. There's a reason millions of companies like Mattel, Heinz, and Allbirds continue to trust and use them. With Shopify on your side, turn your big business idea into... Sign up for your $1 per month trial at shopify.com/special offer.